Midday view on eNCA. It's good to have you with us. So let's try and navigate this legal and technical minefield that is the case that is playing itself out in the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. In a moment, I'll be joined by Marius du Toit, a legal expert, to help me make sense of it all. But before I do that, let me go to Siphamandla Goge. You will have heard there that former President Jacob Zuma's legal team argues that Prosecutor Billy Downer is not suitable to conduct the trial. Zuma's corruption trial is back at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. His legal team insists their client wants the trial to go ahead, but Judge Piet Koen says the accused needs to be in court for the trial to proceed. That was in the earlier part of the arguments in court there, and we've since moved on from that and have been focusing on the special plea by former President Jacob Zuma. So let's bring in eNCA's Siphamandla Goge joining us from Pietermaritzburg. And Siphamandla, Dalimpofu says the prosecutor misconduct allegations that we are dealing with here are on the higher end of the scale, not on the lower end. In fact, he says, quote, they are of weighty and egregious nature and entitle Zuma to an acquittal.
Indeed, that's the point he's been hammering, and I can tell you that after this lunch break, he will continue with his presentation, and he's been trying to get that point across. He's not only taking a swipe at Advocate Billy Downer, he's going for the entire prosecution's team here, saying, well, we are dealing with this application here concerning the lead prosecutor, Advocate Billy Downer. He alleges that he has engaged in misconduct. He says he is not fit to prosecute this matter. He is biased. He wants to see the former president convicted at all costs. They are also accusing him and alleging that he is responsible for leaking the former president's medical record to the media. Of course, it's something that the NPA and the state have denied. So really today we were expecting to get underway with proceedings, but we were not expecting to get so close in terms of what happened in the morning earlier on. So you have heard about two parts this morning. In the morning, it was all about the medical records of the former president, where there was that heated exchange between Judge Piet Koen and Advocate Dalimpofu. Simply put, the state wanted to summon the head of prisons here, which is Arthur Fraser, to table medical reports of former President Jacob Zuma. We know he's been released on medical parole by Arthur Fraser. But then again, the defense team came out guns blazing, saying, hang on, you cannot bulldoze and smuggle that in. We are not here to deal with that. We are here to deal with the issue of the special plea. Let's take a listen to that exchange between Judge Piet Koen and Advocate Dalimpofu earlier on.
Since then, are we going to get medical records from the taxi association or whatever,
no, but
which
Mr.
have nothing
Mpofu,
to do with the issue that we're about here today?
1.2 was if he applies for the further postponement.
Yes.
He hasn't applied for further postponement, but
Absolutely.
he's also not present here.
Yes, but, my lord, that issue cannot be smuggled through the back door with the greatest respect.
No, I don't. It's not a case of smuggling. It's a case of whether it's relevant and whether it's an anticipated issue today and whether the witnesses are here who can produce those documents. And I'm just asking again, what's the difficulty if they're placed under embargo that they're not disclosed?
My lord, I accept that.
Because this process
yes.
is simply delaying matters now.
No, my lord. With the greatest respect, if it was your medical records or my medical records, I would not want them to be flying around.
No, they're not. But they're not going to fly around, Mr.
Well, my lord, with the greatest respect, we're dealing with somebody's medical records here. I think let's at least be sensitive. I know there are time issues, but we cannot bulldoze this issue. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mpofu, I'm extremely sensitive to the fact that they're medical records.
I know, my lord.
There is no bulldozing. Please.
Well, I'm saying, my lord.
Please refrain from those terms, because that is not what I'm exploring with you, whether there's a way that we can deal with this issue on the basis of confidentiality, protecting the confidence and the integrity of those records, but they're being handed in so that we can carry on with other matters.
Well, those records ended up not being tabled. Judge Piet Koen saying to Arthur Fraser and his senior officials in the department, we will stand this matter down for now. We'll call you if and when we need you to come and table those documents. Ayanda Mngadi, what do you make of today's proceedings, particularly this submission and arguments by Advocate Dalimpofu, where he says, in fact, all of the prosecution's team, they are not fit to prosecute the former president?
This application has always been about certain individuals in the prosecution. Well, initially, the defense team of Jacob Zuma had started with Billy Dano, who was the lead prosecutor, but now things have been changing into the entire prosecution team. Bit by bit, he's picking onto certain aspects of what they've done in this investigation and leading to why we are here today. So he's breaking down each and everyone's character, and is also showing the side to the court that, you know what, there is a problem with the prosecution team in the manner in which it led to the entire investigation as it is as right of now. So that's where he is breaking down each person's character, is breaking down the procedure that was followed, and how each and every one of them has been tainted in some way in leading to the actual case that is before court. That is why they are now moving for the application for the special plea for the court to now say, okay, decide first on these people before we go into the actual case that's before this court. If and when all these people did everything in the right manner in leading to us being here today.
This matter was allocated 2 days. Judge Piet Koen has basically outlined his desires to have this matter wrapped up today.
Yeah.
But I doubt if that will be the case, bearing in mind that Advocate Dalimpofu was asked to summarize his arguments, but it seems as if he's going at length to present.
No, I don't think it will be finalized. Well, the judge did say that he wants everything to be finalized today. Dalimpofu did allude somehow that he's also not available tomorrow. So we're hoping that today we can get through a lot of the arguments that are going to be led. But for the past hour or two, it's only been the defense team of Jacob Zuma who's actually led evidence here at court. The state also still needs to apply. We are waiting as to how they're going to counter the argument that has been led thus far. It's going to be very interesting because they now need to defend not only the team, so to say, but each individual now needs to answer to all the allegations that have been laid. I mean, it's very serious allegations that have been laid. Although in his argument he withheld the names of the individuals, but I mean, already by him even alluding that certain information has been leaked, that's already sending alarm bells to everyone.
Ayanda Mngadi, thank you very much for your time. She's helping us to break this down. So we will keep on monitoring these arguments inside court. We are on lunch break now, set to resume at 1:45. That's when we expect to continue with the proceedings. Let's take it back to you in studio, Tulasiso.
All right, Siphamandla, let's leave it there for a moment. In fact, let's continue with trying to help you make sense of what you've been hearing. There's been a volley of arguments. So we kind of need to navigate and take a step back and get a sense of where we stand at the moment. Let's bring in